Good evening, everyone. Welcome in. This is the AJA Sports Show, our court sessions
Mm,
episode
mm.
number,
Yeah.
whatever.
Judge Fudge.
We're happy to be in the building. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic start to your day. And if you are hanging out with us, we're gonna have some fun talking about all the new, new news. That didn't make sense. All the news that dropped over the weekend and even today. Um, but yeah, how are you guys doing?
Do it.
Bro.
Awesome.
Yep. Having a good day so far. It's getting better now.
Oh, absolutely. It's a direct correlation to our show, I believe,
Oh, it's
and
going the wrong.
Absolutely.
and to
100%.
and to seeing me.
Absolutely.
What's up, Elizabeth?
What's up, Lord Lizzie?
Thank you for being the rock in the chat room. We appreciate that a lot.
More than you know.
So we'll start off today's episode by going over some news and notes around the league. I'll start with some of the headlines that have kind of occurred over the last couple of days, and we'll stop to chat about it a little bit. So if you guys watched last night's slate of basketball games, Chris Paul silenced the Knicks and ended their winning streak at 9. They had not lost, I think, since April 9th. He drained like 3 shots in the last minute and change, and pulled the victory out for the Suns. So it was a nice little series of plays and clutch buckets by Chris Paul. So that's what the Phoenix Suns need in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you saw Stephen A at all today, dude was absolutely dumbfounded by them losing. He was just shot. Yeah. They would go on a little winning streak, and all of a sudden they're never gonna lose again.
Yeah, I mean they've done well for themselves, as we'll see in the standings later.
Oh, and the Suns, yeah, and losing to the Suns is no shame, especially this year. Hey,
Absolutely.
you can look at the Suns, bro. They have like 2 of the most clutch performers in the NBA with Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, they can go off. Chris Paul not necessarily just for scoring, but he's not afraid to handle the ball in the last minute, and Devin Booker's offensive potency is just ridiculous sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, they went 4-1 against the Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, and Nets, who were, I think, basically the top 5 teams in the East. So I know it's not playoff basketball yet, but it's getting pretty close. And like you guys said, like to have the clutch performers playing like that, they were 19-63 2 years ago, dude. And they're top spot, a game back for the best record in the NBA and Western Conference.
Crazy.
That is a fantastic turnaround for them. I mean, Chris Paul, right? That's the effect he has on the team. We're not going to say he's MVP because we all know who that is, but I mean, ultimately,
LeBron. Yeah, LeBron.
Exactly. Ultimately, yeah, like that's the effect that Chris Paul has on the game of basketball, and he's going to be missed when he goes.
I mean, every team he went to improved their winning percentage like the very next season. Like he got there and they just automatically started winning more. And then I mean, we've talked about it before, but Monty Williams and Devin Booker's ascendance has definitely played a role in that. Like I mean, we've mentioned it. This is probably the 3rd time now that they went 8-0 in the bubble. Just missed. They won every game that they possibly could in the bubble and did not make the playoffs because they needed just one more team to lose one more game. And, they didn't make it. So adding Monty Williams last year definitely, helped them out. And you can see some of that chemistry and cohesion come together then. And, obviously it's reared to a head now. So.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. We can the players of the week of last week were also announced as well yesterday. So I wanted to share a little graphics with you guys real quick and talk about them. So Bradley Beal was the Eastern Conference's player of the week. He averaged 31.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, 3 assists. The most important thing right there is 4-0. But most important is slightly subjective. I mean, but I'll give him this. Like, they're not, obviously they're not the best team in the East, but they have pushed themselves into playoff position. So it takes weeks like that where you just, run the table. So good on Bradley Beal there.
Mm-hmm.
Were either of you surprised that it wasn't Russell Westbrook? I mean, he's on the same team. They went 4-0, and Russell Westbrook had triple doubles in probably all those games. I would imagine.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure he did, but 31 points is pretty ridiculous. And he was super efficient, right? I mean, that's something you always look to is the field goal percentage and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think there's also like this hidden reality behind getting player of the week in all sports. I think if you are recognized a lot as as one player on your team, sometimes they just give it to another player for what it's worth. It happens. That's why you can't trust anybody. Don't take candy from strangers, folks.
we'll talk. I have some stuff on Bradley Beal and how well he's been playing, but I'll save that for when we look at the standings, see where they're sitting.
Sounds good. So our yeah, so that was Bradley Beal. The guy for the West was this gentleman right here, Luka Doncic. Shame. 26 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. His team went 3-0, battling with for playoff positioning as well right now too. I think they have the 6th seed. But Luka hit some ridiculous shots over this weekend too, if you were watching, and he was injured, so even better for him, like, that he was able to still produce his normalcy.
Kristaps has been missing a little bit of time in and out too for like knee management. Now it's getting to the end of the season, and he missed a few games, and he missed some games in the beginning of the season, but has been pretty healthy since then. So Luka's been amazing. I mean, if we all did, everyone saw that buzzer beater he hit where he was like falling down basically, right, from the 3-point line. Jiminy, dude, like a teardrop while he's falling. It was pretty unbelievable. So
no, it definitely was.
They were my sleeper team, and Luka's. I mean, he's not going to win the MVP, but he's probably third, right now. I mean,
yeah, he's. Well,
I'd probably put him like third. I'm sure we'll look at the ladder here, but I would put him third.
We'll see where Kia has him going.
Yeah, he gutted the Lakers twice in the last week, so I'm not real happy with Luka, especially after hitting that. The Lakers were up on the Mavericks twice, once with Anthony Davis, and he came back and decided that he wasn't going to allow the Lakers to beat him, and he just started hitting threes in the end of the fourth quarter and basically ruined my night. So thank you, Luka. I hate that you got the award. He's balling, though. I mean, I can't take anything away from him. He's absolutely balling. He's unbelievable sometimes.
No doubt. Another guy who's playing well and is coming into his own. Just wanted to shout out Zion Williamson. He just hit his 2,000th point in 79 games, so not even a full season. But yeah, that kid will be in charge of the league one day, I'm sure. Maybe not with the Pelicans, but he's definitely on his way to that superstardom that so many players. So many players that we see the value in them, and he's a good kid. So
yeah, just signed a shoe deal with Jordan too. Had a boy, secure the bag, sweet. We talked about that the other day too.
He's the youngest player to have a shoe deal, right? Like an active shoe.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's only one of 3 to be actively signed with Jordan. Besides, he's currently number 4 on the ladder. Who's number 3, Floyd Lizzie? Since you're
probably Giannis.
Oh, get back.
It's probably
anyway.
Probably Giannis.
I saw a stat about Zion the other day. This season, he could take 216 shots and miss them all, and he would still shoot over 50% for the season. Isn't that crazy?
Right. Elizabeth just answered your question. Giannis.
I knew it. John, to just pile on top of that percentage that he's been shooting and how efficient he's been. He's had his 20th game with 20 points last night while shooting over 70%. That's the 20th time in his career that he's had 20 points shooting above 70. He's only the 5th player in the shot clock era to have 20 such games in their first 2 seasons. The only other players with more are Shaq, who had 27, and Artis Gilmore with 21. So his efficiency is pretty crazy. I think that's what makes him like so special, because he's able to get to the bucket. He's quick like a guard. He can really handle. The shooting isn't really there, but it's kind of like a Ben Simmons thing. Like, does he really need it? Like, if he's going to shoot 60% from the field like all season, like it doesn't seem like it's going to matter, unless of course it never translates to wins. But
he's a great passer, and we're seeing a lot of this point Zion stuff. Last year he was doing a lot of stuff off the ball with him, where he was like the main screen center. He's like, just because he's a big dude doesn't mean you go out have him out there setting screens. Like his ability to penetrate and pass, and he has a high basketball IQ. Obviously, I would say he's elite on the defensive end, the way he's able to protect the rim, even at his shorter stature. But on the perimeter, he's super. He has the speed to keep up with the smaller guys, and I think Zion is unbelievable. I mean, obviously, we're seeing all that come to fruition right now. So hopefully the Pelicans can win some ball games and get them into the playoffs, unlike when they had Anthony Davis. Because if not, he'll just go somewhere where they make the playoffs, like some other team that may, be looking for young talent in the next couple of years. Because that's all we always do.
Hey, bring your shoe deal. Bring your shoe to Los Angeles. Okay, Lord Lizzie, we have a slide to show a graphic for everybody. But you know what? We're probably just going to skip it now because you just ran down the whole list. So Embiid is number 2 and Jokic is number 1. But thank you a lot for your research. And yeah, like I just said, Steph Curry's number 5. So that's your list. It's Jokic. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Jokic, Joel, Giannis, Luka, and Steph as number 5. And then the next 5 in are Dame, Kawhi, LeBron, Chris Paul, and Rudy Gobert. So
why has nobody mentioned Devin? Like, I know people are saying like Chris Paul, like for MVP, like, and some people are like kind of throwing that idea out there. And it's not gonna happen. He's probably not even gonna make it into the top 5 in these rankings. But why is Devin Booker not talked about if Phoenix is playing so well? Like Devin Booker's averaging 26, 7, and 4, and he's one of the best like perimeter defenders Johnny's mentioned on the show before. I'm just curious, like, why we're giving all the love to like only Chris Paul, and like it's not. I know Devin Booker's been there already, but every star kind of needs a little bit, that little extra help or the next guy to kind of like really bring the team together.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably just the I don't take this team super seriously syndrome. Not necessarily I don't take them seriously, but I think maybe just the rest of the NBA isn't putting Phoenix on their map as much as, they'll overhype someone and then underhype someone. So for every player that's overrated, Andrew, there's an underrated player under the rug. And I mean, if you're Devin Booker, I mean, yes, you want to be noticed and all that good stuff, but I mean, for like shoe deals and all the money he can bring in as an athlete, but for the most part too, you also want people to underestimate you, right? Because then you could just knock them in the teeth. So, I mean, Phoenix in that sense could be scary to face because everybody's going to say, well, Phoenix and Utah are going to lose in the first round, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of hot takes come playoff time. So, yeah, but you're right, though. It's a little ridiculous that Devin Booker doesn't get the love he deserves. I think he's on the next 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Kia does the top 5, the next 5, and they do, and 5 more. He is there's Harden, who has missed a bunch of time, Donovan Mitchell, who is currently injured indefinitely, and then Devin Booker. If anything, Devin Booker should be at least in the next 5 grouping, but it doesn't really matter if you don't win MVP, and he's unlikely to win it this year. But, I mean, if you were bundling up Chris Paul's votes and Devin Booker's, he'd have a higher shot to do so, but
they probably still wouldn't be like top 3 though, to be honest.
Right. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah,
the NBA is just also pissing off NBA, like everyone on Twitter, by keeping LeBron in the top 10.
Yeah, how about absolutely. You bite me? He should be in the top 5 still. He should still be in the top 5.
Right.
Get out of here.
James Harden's not in the top 10.
He's missed like 26 games. He shouldn't be in the top. I love LeBron, but he shouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I agree to disagree on that.
Well, these ladders are a little weird, anyways, because LaMelo Ball was sitting at 6 for the rookie ladder, and then the second they hear he's coming back, they put him at 5. Like, he's not even back yet, and they put him at 5. So I don't know.
He should win the rookie of the year. He should still win rookie of the year. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm just going to have a hot take like that. He should win Rookie of the Year. LeBron James should be top 3 in the MVP race. I don't want to talk about it.
And that's probably what's going to happen, right? LeBron will probably finish around 3 if he gets good quality playing time going when he returns.
If he were to come back, for like the remaining like 12 games the Lakers have, he would play like 1 or 2 games less than Joel Embiid played all season as well. So I'm just saying.
Same wavelength.
I've seeded Joel Embiid as MVP. We'll find out. We'll come to find out later. I have seeded it already.
Yeah.
Okay, so next news item up for bid. The Clippers signed DeMarcus Cousins for the remainder of the season. This season, so far in 8 games that he's played with them, in his like 20 days of contracts he signed, 6.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists. So not his normal career average, which is 20 and 10 and 3 assists. So, but yeah, he's obviously not the star of the team, so his numbers will dip. But potentially a nice player for them down the stretch. Obviously he's got to fit into a system and a play style, but I'm sure they're happy to have him.
He'll be playing about 5 to 10 minutes when Serge Ibaka comes back. So he's getting 12 to 15 right now because Serge Ibaka's out, but he'll be back to riding the pine once Serge gets back on that team.
Right. The just the last kind of big, well, not big, news item is LeBron's rookie card. Well, this is actually big. Sold for $5.2 million today, or yesterday. It beat the previous record held by Luka, and his rookie card sold for 4.6, which is surprising. I was surprised Luka was even like relatively close to LeBron, but I mean LeBron's been in the league for what 16 years, so I would have thought maybe his rookie card would have even got more value back. I'm sure there's people that will sell their rookie cards in the future and get even more than that, but nice little note of rich people buying rich stuff. So
we got to get Joe on here one time, bro. He's like the sports card dude. I mean, he's still learning, but every day that's what that dude loves to do. And not even just sports cards. Like, dude, he's on like the Pokemon now, and I don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh, but he all types of cards, dudes all over him, bro.
There's money across the card trading board.
Right.
Well, it's even going digital now, right? So
NFTs, yeah, NFTs, which aren't like really cards. They're more like art.
Yeah.
People are calling them like art, like it's like a highlight or like a one of a kind like digital piece, basically is what it is.
Honestly, that was one of the news headlines on ESPN this morning. I was like, the Golden State Warriors were the first team to sign. I was like scratching my head a little bit. I was like, I'm not 100% sure what an NFT is, so I'm just not going to talk about it today, but it made its way onto the show anyway, so
yeah, individual people have NFTs. Like Patrick Mahomes started his own NFT and like raised a bunch of money for like his 15 and the Mahomies fundraiser that he has, that organization. So yeah, everyone's doing NFTs. NFTs are blowing up, dude. The digital market is just a different world. It's really cool, something else.
Thank you for enlightening me, sir. So right now, as it stands tonight, the Clippers have a chance to clinch a playoff spot today with a Portland loss. But that didn't happen because Portland just absolutely demolished the Indiana Pacers. They were up by like 42 or 41 at some point in this game. So the Clippers probably will clinch at some point in the next couple of days. And then Brooklyn can clinch a spot today if both Charlotte and Boston lose. I'm going to pull up the scores here, but I'm not 100% sure if Charlotte and Boston are both going to lose today.
Charlotte just lost 114 to 104 to Milwaukee.
And the Boston Celtics are down 3 with 30 seconds to go. So, Brooklyn might clinch a spot today. So we'll keep you guys updated as the show goes on. But that'll be it for the headlines of today. Want to give the injury report. We'll pivot to that right now. So over the last couple of days, out for the season. Larry Nance Jr. broke his thumb, and John Wall has a hamstring strain that'll keep him out for the remainder of the games in Houston. Not necessarily to players that were changing the dynamic of the league this year, but notable to note. And then we'll get some thoughts on these next guys here. Possibly to return this week, Trae Young, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, LaMelo Ball is a long shot, but there's some rumors that he might. Will Barton, Domantas Sabonis, Kawhi Leonard, has a bruise on his leg, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder have been playing with nobody over there, so they'd be nice to have him back. I think the notable ones here are the first couple of guys that I said, Trae Young, LeBron James. The Hawks are still doing well without Trae Young, so for what it's worth, LeBron James needs to, bring some balance back into the Lakers lineup. And then, Boston is about to lose to the Thunder, who have lost 14 in a row, minus Tatum and Kemba. So, but yeah. And then LaMelo Ball, as we kind of mentioned already, our Rookie of the Year candidate. Hopefully he comes back ASAP so he could light up the league again.
I don't know. I think Anthony Edwards is still making a case to win the Rookie of the Year. I know LaMelo's played really well in his time, but Anthony Edwards has quietly been just balling. He's been shooting the three really well. He's only trailing Steph in 3-point percentage in terms of pulling up. If you just a pull up off the dribble, he's shooting 39.5% from behind the 3-point line this year when he just pulls up off the dribble, and has had over 20 points in 9 straight games, and have a winning record since Cat and D'Lo returned. So I don't know. Anthony Edwards, he's playing really well. I know LaMelo's coming back, but
they also still have one of the worst records in the league. Did you hear? Speaking of, because this dude always makes the headlines for doing something off the court. So someone asked me the other day, "Hey, why have the Minnesota Timberwolves been so bad in the fourth quarter? In the beginning of the season, you guys are improving." He's like, "Well, I was on the bench in the first part of the season, the fourth quarter, so that's why we're improving now. I'm not on the bench." This dude's wilding, bro. Nice. But yeah, the ones that really matter are obviously Trae Young and LeBron. I mean, I can't wait to get LeBron back. Oh my God, I can't wait. Trae Young, because the Hawks are making a playoff push. For as good as the Knicks have been playing, the Hawks are still right there with them. They're tied with the same record. They were a few games up, but the Knicks have just been so hot that they've been able to catch them. Domantas Sabonis is another guy who I really like. I think he's an underrated player in the league, and he's a big deal for Indiana. Indiana is missing a ton of pieces right now. And Will Barton with the Nuggets, and Jamal Murray obviously being injured. He's a guy that's going to have to come in and fill a role for them. On the offensive side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just stay out, buddy. You're too good. Let's just wrap it up for next season. But we don't need to be doing this. There's no shot.
Absolutely.
Luke Dort is leading the team right now. Let him.
I was just about to say he has got it figured out. Don't worry.
And don't even bother. He scored 42 points the other day. Shai, you're good. Don't worry. Just leave him alone.
I'm with you.
What is Luke Dort doing? Scoring 42 points in the National Basketball Association.
Well,
the offenses are ridiculous right now. NBA offenses. I'm sorry. I just got to go off for a second. This season, the NBA has seen the highest offensive rating per game on average by NBA teams. It's 112.1 right now. The second highest was last year when it was 110.6. It's 1.5 points better this year than it was last year. That's already egregious. And then when you look at the all-time rankings, this is their number 1 is this year, 2 is last year, 3rd is the year before that, 4th is the year before that. I mean, when does it end? We're just not playing defense anymore in the NBA. I'm done.
We're not.
Yeah, we talked about the Blazers just absolutely demolishing the Pacers, and they scored 133 points at the end of the game today, but they had 113 by the end of the third quarter.
Oh yeah, they took the fourth quarter off.
What is it? Anthony Simons was 9 for 9 from the 3-point line today.
27 points, all from the 3-point line. Ridiculous.
And I guess it's not that people aren't playing defense, but the offense right now, they're taking so many more shots. There's so many more possessions, and the offensive rating is better. So you would think with the volume, it would bring it down or back to the mean. No, we're going up, baby. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But offense is going to reign supreme, it seems, until it gets to the playoffs. And then if you don't have a top 10 defense, you win the playoff. You only win the championship 3 times out of the entire history of the NBA. And if you don't have a top 10 defense, you better be like the Warriors or the Lakers. It is egregious, Elizabeth.
It's egregious. We love when Junior goes off on tangents. Okay, so a couple more injuries. And then we don't have to talk too much because we're kind of in the unknown right now with these guys. But Donovan Mitchell out indefinitely, De'Aaron Fox indefinitely, Victor Oladipo indefinitely. Everybody here is indefinitely. Patrick Beverley indefinitely, Gordon Hayward, and James Harden. So Harden's probably the notable one there because everybody gets wet for the Brooklyn Nets. Victor Oladipo is kind of a scary one because if he comes back for the Miami Heat and they get some playing time together, the Heat made the finals as a 5 seed last year, so that one will could be a difference maker. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox just don't come back. The Kings are out of it. Donovan Mitchell probably needs to come back for Utah to have a chance.
They don't have a chance with him.
And then
Yeah, I agree, but they do need him
Beverly.
back though because they've been bad in the last two games against Minnesota. They're 0-3 against Minnesota this year, including the last two nights, and they're the only team in the shot clock era to have over 40 wins and blow two straight 17+ point leads in the fourth quarter. So they probably need Donovan Mitchell back to make sure they get some of that late game scoring because they're lacking right now and they can't rely on the Frenchman.
They're 6-6. He said the Frenchman. They're 6-6 in over the last 12 games. So take that because Donovan Mitchell's obviously missed some time. So
yeah, and Phoenix, like we talked about already, has won 4 of their last 5. The Clippers have won 11 of their last 12. They're surging. Denver's not far behind, but obviously isn't going to probably make a push to the top 3. But yeah, so they kind of need to be a little careful because if they slip into that middle range, if they slip into the standings, then that's where we really talk about, if Utah gets the 1 seed, then they're playing the 8 seed. But if they get to 3 and 4, then I think most people would probably pick them to lose their first round series.
Did you see Paul George averages over their last 8 games? I mean, he's averaging 33, 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 4 3-pointers, shooting 52% from the field, 45% from the 3-point line, and 92% from the free throw line.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been pretty great.
YG Trace, baby.
Having a good week, good month.
It's his Twitter handle. I'm sorry.
He needs more Twitter followers.
We know. Yeah,
at AKA Sports Show.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Ace. I was just all over it. Go ahead and there we go. Yeah.
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna go over the defensive players of the year candidates, and we're only going to talk about the top 2. The Kia ladder finally has Ben Simmons as
it's Ben Simmons
as the 1 seed, and then
Rudy
Gobert is the 2. Keeping in mind that I think Andrew mentioned the Sixers have lost 4 in a row. You could say that it also makes the case that because Embiid has been playing, that he's not MVP, but it also could make the case that since Simmons isn't playing, he could, the defensive player of the year makes a difference in that, being absent in that scenario. So just a quick shout out to us. If you're looking to support us, let other people know about us. But since you already know about us, subscribe if you already haven't, because there are some people that watch us that don't subscribe. And then hit the bell icon. It's just another way for you to hop on the live streams with us, because the live streams for us are probably the best way to get our personality and the most fun out of us. And we're super interactive, so we would appreciate you guys doing so and letting people know about us, because we plan to stick around for a while. I don't know when the good Lord is going to take me away, but I'll just be like, but sir, but Lord, I have an AGA sports show later today. Can I do the live stream and we can talk later?
Today's the baseball buzz. What are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, sorry to get all existential there. So we went over some of the headlines the last couple of days, some of those notable injuries, and the awards. So yeah, the league is kind of narrowing down here to the end. But I wanted to talk about a couple of, one historic segment first before we talk about like the playoff seedings and go through the standings, and that would be Russell Westbrook. So we're gonna discuss Russell Westbrook here. He's 7 triple doubles away from having the record in of all time national basketball history. He currently has 175 triple doubles in 932 games played. On average, he will have a triple double 18% of the time he plays. In 3 seasons, he's averaged a triple double. This season, he's currently averaging a triple double as well. And then Oscar Robertson, who has the current stranglehold on that record, he had 181 in 1,040 games, which is 17% of the time he would average a triple double. And he only had 1 season where he averaged a triple double, which is all to say that Russell Westbrook will be the triple double king for sure. Probably maybe by the season's end. So we'll see if he can keep up that pace. So I'll let you guys talk about Russell Westbrook. But I also wanted to get your guys' opinion on who can pass him. And then I have the 2 closest next candidates. Jokic, he has 56 triple doubles in 442 games played, which is like 12% of the time he gets a triple double. And then Luka, who has 34 triple doubles in 188 games, so he's played the least amount out of these guys, which is closer to the 18% that Russell Westbrook has. So, what do you guys think about Russell Westbrook getting this triple double, and then title, and then let's chat about the future.
Yeah, definitely. He's a freakazoid. I mean, he's been doing it even when he was in Oklahoma City. He was putting up these kind of numbers. And people mentioned, before that, the bigs on whatever team he's playing for let him get the rebounds and stuff. Whatever, dude. He's still getting rebounds. Super. I mean, can you argue he may be one of the most athletic point guards we've ever seen, if not the most athletic point guard we've ever seen in terms of jumping ability?
Yeah.
Right. In terms of like jumping ability, speed, athleticism, like he reigns supreme on all that. Passing Oscar Robertson will be a great, accolade if he's able to do so. As you mentioned, it looks like he keeps up anything like what he's doing right now. And, the Wizards are still fighting for that 10 seed, which is where they're sitting right now and trying to get up a little more even. He's going to have to play well. So, getting a triple double kind of leads to playing well most of the time.
Right.
When you talk about Jokic and Luka, I mean, I want to say Jokic because of his size, his ability to get rebounds and double doubles. If this was a conversation about double doubles, I'd probably say Jokic. But because it's triple doubles, I'd give it to Luka. Luka is legitimately like 6'7". Like Luka's a big dude. People, I don't know if people, I mean, there are a lot of people who understand that, but then there are a lot of people who just read him as a point guard and, for some reason don't understand that this dude is 6'7". Like he's a grown man, 240 something pounds. And he's going to be able to get rebounds, especially if he keeps playing with Kristaps Porzingis. We know Kristaps don't like to get rebounds sometimes. Dude stands out there like a tree just shooting three-pointers all the time. He's a unicorn, so I'm not really going to crap on Kristaps. But all that said, Luka would be my pick if we were going to be picking someone in my crystal ball to overtake the triple-double lead from Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't know. Where do we even think Russell Westbrook finishes? He's at 175, and he's going to play for – probably you would think 3 more years, 4 more years, maybe even more. I mean, and not to say that he's going to be able to get those triple doubles, but if that's just his game style and he's seeing minutes, and in today's NBA, the amount of usage that he gets, you could very well like see him like having triple doubles later in his career. He's had 21 in the last 31 games and a total of 29 in the season. So what he's doing is kind of just it kind of came out of nowhere. I think the one thing the Wizards want to be better about when their players play well is when Bradley Beal scores 40 points. Just to mention, they're 2-14 in the last 2 seasons when Bradley Beal scores 40 points. So very sorry for you, Bradley Beal, but they seem to win most of the games when Russell Westbrook has a triple double. They had won 8 games before last night, before losing to the Spurs in overtime, and we'll probably mention that in a minute when we get to standings. But in terms of who can pass him, like I think I'd probably go with Luka too. I'm tempted with Jokic though because of just his ability and how much, how much attention he attracts to the paint when he's posted up, and if he has good shooters around him, he'll have no problem finding places to go with the ball, if not scoring himself. But I think the dribble penetration that Luka is able to create that Jokic probably isn't as often, because I've seen Jokic get to the cup, but Luka just gets there, a lot more efficiently, a lot more often. He has a bit of a higher usage rate. And like Jay mentioned, he's got Kristaps over there, and I don't know how long he's going to have him. But if they have players like that around Luka, then I would probably say Luka just because of the amount of usage he gets.
Yeah, so I also left off a couple of names that are currently playing. I don't think James Harden ever makes it there. So
that was the next guy I was thinking. I'm like, maybe Harden. How many does he have? I can't see that.
58.
Oh, no shot.
This is kind of small. My bad, folks. James Harden has 58. I could see it happening, but he's just been injured a lot this season. Luka here with 34, Ben Simmons with 32, potentially if he starts to string together, not that he's not healthy, but just more games played. He
he's got Embiid, who averages like 14 rebounds a game, 13, 14 rebounds a game, and probably is going to do that for quite a while as long as he can stay healthy. So
right, and I think Giannis won't get there. Giannis is a good player, but he doesn't get enough assists to make that a reality. But cool to see. I mean, triple doubles is kind of like the stat stuffer, it's just what we, if you stuff the stats, you're going to get a triple double for the most part. So, but there's not a ton of like players on the top of that list in like NBA history. The league's been going on for plenty of time. So, but yeah, happy for Westbrook. I don't care that he doesn't have a ring yet. I've called him out on it in the past, but for what it's worth, I don't think he should be MVP. If anybody's putting him up there right away, I think that's too soon. But
yeah, I agree with you. He got his MVP. He got it.
They're still under 500, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still under 500 by like 6 games.
Yeah, I said it's too soon, but I meant to say it's too late. It's too late for.
Oh, right.
It's too late for them to, for me to have a, maybe if he was on the Knicks and the Knicks were doing what they were doing, like I think we would no doubt be talking about that. But that's
100%, yeah.
That's my thought about it, at least. So I said we weren't going to talk about it, but I just put it up here for a few if you guys want to chime in on your points of view. But so far, so good for my pick. Jokic, still number one. Still grinding it out. Still playing every game. Holding the team somewhat together without Jamal Murray and without Will Barton. So, Jokic is still putting up the numbers, even if they're slightly boring for for the narrative, because all the guys below him are like making all the plays and all the highlight reels. But yeah, Jokic is definitely still going. It's going to be down to him and Embiid or I don't know. I probably Embiid at the end of the season, but yeah, and then Embiid right here, number 2. Still putting up a lot of points. Just if you watch him play games, he just does whatever he wants, and if he wants to score, he'll score. And I think he has that same mentality too. He has missed a lot of games though, so Andrew kind of mentioned that, I believe, or maybe Jay did. If LeBron comes back and plays the rest of the games, he'll play just under a couple less than Joel. And if we're complimenting Joel so much, but it's all it all kind of fits into how well you do it, and for this certain period of time where you get hot, this is all like slightly narrative based, right? Like I keep saying that, but it really is like is he the flavor of the week, of the month, of the season? Like Jokic has been the flavor of the season. Embiid's been skyrocketing up this last month, so.
Don't worry, LeBron. I'll compliment you. He's the flavor of my lifetime. When you look at versus Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic, though, Jokic is averaging more assists per game than Embiid. He's also averaging more 3-pointers per game, steals per game. He's better. He has a better assist to turnover ratio, a better field goal percentage, a better 3-point percentage, a better free throw percentage, a better effective field goal percentage, a better total win share percentage, a better offensive rating, a better player efficiency rating, a better win share per 48-minute rating, and also in blocks per minute. So, and he has core usage, and their teams have the exact same record now. Right. Thank you, Stat News.
Coming in fire with those stats, man. Good job.
Yeah, and it bears noting too that, like you mentioned that he's been around the whole season and he's been consistent, and that might bore some people that the narrative isn't exactly what he wanted to be. He's third in the NBA in total points scored, so he's averaging 26 points, which is a lot. But his average obviously isn't 30 like Embiid's is, or like up there with Steph. He only trails Steph Curry and Bradley Beal. They're leading the charge in both in total points and points per game. And like I said, points per game, he's only at 26, but in total points scored, because he's played so many games, he's third in the league. He's only like 60 points behind Steph. So again, it's just been a really good season for him. All things are kind of clicking. The only thing that really sucks is that you lose Jamal Murray. So hopefully he's enough to, he'll really cement himself as, one of those top tier players. He already is, right? But he can just have a signature moment in the playoff by himself where, without Jamal Murray
which is what Jamal did last year.
Exactly. Just about to say. Took the words right out of my mouth, Ace. Attaboy.
Also, keep in mind, I said this stat last week, but I didn't get the update on it since the games played last week. But Jokic is like top 5 in minutes played this season. Joel Embiid is like, in the 125 to 135 range. So yeah. Definitely put some perspective on it when you look at it that way, because the averages might look like super surprising for Joel, but then also we have season totals as well, and Jokic has all of those on a nice little string. But yeah, if Joel didn't miss as much time, like you said, and this whole comeback of him like playing really well, he would definitely have a shot regardless. So
Yeah, Jokic is second now. He said in total minutes played, only behind Julius Randle.
yeah, and Julius Randle is playing like this monster in New York right now, and has to play those minutes for that team to be successful.
One is Julius Randle, 3 is RJ Barrett. That a boy,
Right.
Tim. Oh boy, Tibbs. Run him into the ground, baby.
Tibbs.
Jesus, man.
Julius Randle, protect him at all costs. Well, I mean, they're in the playoffs, so maybe you could cut his minutes down a little bit now.
You imagine if you're a Nick going to Tibbs, be like, hey, coach, I got knee bugging, little inflammation. Got to get the
It's
day
egregious.
off. Okay? Hey, coach, need a day off. You know what I'm saying? A little light minute day. Got to do some cardio. Knee's not feeling good. You better get on the court. Tibbs just death stare you to death. You better get on the court, play your 40 minutes, and be quiet.
Right. I wonder.
Good luck rebuttaling him too. Have you guys heard Tom Thibodeau's voice?
Yes.
It's scary. I don't have a clip of it, but it's just scary. Like I like if he tells me something, I'll listen. I don't even want to. I'm not gonna fight it. I don't want to hear that voice any more than I have to. So if you're a New York Knick who wants to complain about their injuries and doesn't want to play, yeah, just get on the court, strap the shoes up because Tom's in the
So Giannis here. I wonder if Jokic is going to be like boring like Giannis. After Jokic wins the MVP this year, Giannis kind of like, since he's won it 2 years in a row, like these stats are like expected, right? So it doesn't surprise you that he has these numbers. So I wonder if that'll be kind of what we see going into next year for Jokic. But Giannis has been putting up some great numbers. Has had to miss a couple of games, not as much as Joel. Number 3 team in the East, has been for pretty much the whole season.
I guarantee you, if he shot a better 3-point percentage and more threes, he would be the MVP. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah,
Giannis?
He shoots 18% from 3-point range.
Yeah, he would also probably be averaging like maybe 30, 31 on top of his 11.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But even if he wasn't, even if he was just averaging this, even if he was averaging the same amount of points and his 3-point percentage was just a little better and he was just taking more from out there and being more efficient from being out there, he'd probably win it. At averaging 27, 11, and 6, yeah, I mean, I think he'd be pretty darn close, especially with them being third in the East. I don't know. Now Denver has pretty much the same record as the 76ers now. So I'll stick with Jokic this year. It's Jokic's year. I'm trying to find every reason to not have Jokic be it when it's just Jokic.
Yeah, all the cards have kind of fallen already into place. It's gonna be Jokic.
Yeah, so Milwaukee's second best is Chris Middleton, and currently Denver's second best is Aaron Gordon, who's only played like 15 games with Jokic, or
It's probably MPJ now.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr.
We
got some stats on him. So
okay, so I mean, both good secondary players. But yeah, anyways, we can get into a rabbit hole here talking about this. Luka coming in number 4 here, 28, 8 and 8, almost 28, 8 and 9. Talking about him as potential future triple-double star there. But he's been playing well. Player of the week for last week, and then we'll kind of cap it at 5. But Steph, he had a couple of bad shooting days after his ridiculous start to the month, but still, shooting from anywhere on the court. I'm sure this guy would like. If he cared more about it, he could break like every Guinness World Record as far as like shooting a shot from this distance, and maybe when he retires he'll do that. But yeah, 31 points, 5.5 rebounds, just under 6 assists a game, and leading the Warriors to being somewhat competitive, even though like they're still teetering on a playoff seeding right now. Like they're likely to make the playoffs, unless they like just poop out the last few games of the season here. If his team was better, he'd be better ranked. But everybody loves Steph Curry. He deserves it, but he's what, 4-time champion, 5-time champion,
3-time champion.
three-time
But I
champion.
mean,
Oh, sorry, yeah. I'm
mhm.
giving him a couple extra here. No, they went to the finals. What, 6 years in a row?
He'll get his 4th next year with LeBron.
Right. Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
worry.
So
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Either way, LeBron's getting it, so that's all that matters.
He hit
absolutely.
back to Steph anyway. He hit 85 he's hit, I should say, 85 threes in April so far. He already broke the NBA record for most threes in a month, which was held by James Harden for 83, I'm sorry.
Crazy.
No. He's hit 80. No, he's hit 85. I'm sorry. He's hit 85. James Harden's record was 83, and Steph still has 2 more games to go. So theoretically, he could get to 100 if he hits somewhere close to 8. Which again, if you hitting 7 or 8 free 3-point attempts in an NBA game seems like wow. I just said Anthony Simmons had 9 made threes earlier.
He's hit 2 tonight so far. So
Steph has? Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So there we go. He's probably gonna hit like 8 or 9, and it's just normal. It's just so normalized for Steph. But like I said, Anthony Simmons, he had 27 points, so all of his points were those 3-point shots. He's gonna probably hit a couple threes, and then probably 8 threes, and still have like 36 points because he'll get a couple drives to the bucket and stuff.
So just to update,
I love Steph.
just to update an earlier sentiment here, Brooklyn clinched a playoff spot because Boston and Charlotte both lost today. Boston lost in the last few seconds to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who held on. Boston missed some free throws late, and nothing better than seeing an upset. The Thunder were on a 14-game losing streak, so it's a nice, good win for them there.
Boston should have traded Jaylen Brown for Paul George to OKC back when they had the chance.
Right.
Jaylen Brown led team, obviously losing to OKC. How do you lose to OKC? Lou against Dort.
I think he had 38. He had like 38. Jaylen Brown.
Don't care. Be better.
But be better.
He had 38. I mean, 10 points more than his average.
We have a high standard here, okay?
Maybe it was Jabari Parker only getting 1 rebound, not scoring a point. Poor Aces DraftKings lineup, Jiminy.
We're gonna call out Jabari Parker, the guy who just got signed. He played like 3 games.
Well, you say he played better. Everyone should play better. He got 38 points.
Here,
I don't even like Jaylen Brown. 38 points. What do you want him to do? Luke wants Dort running around like a freaking Terminator robot, guard him everywhere.
Don't steal my money, folks. Just kidding. But my lineup is technically ranked 23rd in this tournament I'm doing, winning $10 right now. We'll see if that holds, but just thought I'd share it because Jay brought it up. Jaylen Brown got me 67 and a quarter today. Brissett 49. Played a lot of minutes.
Damn, 49%. Huge that they got blown out, dude.
Yeah,
huge that they got blown out.
Marcus Smart only had like 12 points at halftime, so he put up 20 in the second half, which is not bad. Chris Middleton, I think, was like 15 after the first half, so put up some nice points there. Brogdon was kind of a fail for me. Could have gotten some more value there, but he had no reason not to go off today. They just sat him.
No, the rationale is great. The rationale in all your picks today were really good.
Jabari Parker, 1 rebound.
Yeah, that's the one. But if you're ever gonna play freaking Jabari Parker, it's when Tatum's out. No Kemba. Right? Yeah, you would think they would need some offense. They would go to a guy like Jabari, who in his first game with Boston had like 12 points in 15 minutes. So I played Jabari the other day against Brooklyn for the same rationale. He stunk up the joint then too.
Right.
Jesus, Evan Fournier has been an absolute disaster. He shot 4 of 14 today. He had 11 points, which doesn't. I mean, that's whatever. But Jesus, he's been a disaster since he got over there from Orlando.
I agree 100% with you. Okay, so we're gonna do the standings last here. You guys can give me some of your takes and positioning. As I'm covering my mouth as I'm trying to talk, give me some takes and thoughts as we go down here, and then we'll wrap up the show with some. How important is playoff seeding? I just wanted to give you guys some stats and get your opinion. So without further ado, Brooklyn Nets, top team right now by 1 game over the 76ers. Won 6 out of the last 10. Without Harden, we don't know when he's coming back. But yeah, still the number 1 team here. The Sixers are on a 1-game winning streak, if you can call 1 game a winning streak. But they did just drop a few in a row, so giving the Nets a chance to take the 1 seed from them.
Yeah, that was a tough stretch for the Sixers, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off or anything.
Oh,
But Philly, on that 4-game losing streak, they played the Warriors with no Tobias, no Ben Simmons, and Steph had 49. So they lost that one. Then they played the Suns. Again, no Tobias, no Ben Simmons. And Joel had 38, 17, and 4, and just lost to one of the best teams in the NBA right now in the Phoenix Suns. Then they had a back-to-back versus the Bucks, where Ben Simmons didn't play in either game, and then Joel Embiid actually sat out the 4th game. So, again, that's another team that was able to make up some ground, the Bucks, by winning those two. But when you don't have, the best players on your team, you're going to lose most of the time. So there's that. Full tilt on Kevin Durant, DraftKings, man. I was playing him all day going into, I think it was Sunday. I think it was the Sunday slate. I was all over it, 8,400. First game back, I was like, bam, baby, locking this in. And then I forgot who I was pairing with him, but a report came out like an hour before the game. Oh, he's coming off the bench, not going to start, probably not even going to play 30 minutes. Oh, you're freaking kidding me. And then a little part of me should have been like, hey, bro, listen, genius. That means that the ownership's going to go down on him, so which means you lock him in even harder. What did Genius Johnny do? Hey, no, but what did Genius Johnny do? He said, oh, I got to pivot off. So I played Chris Paul, who had 28, and Joe Harris, who absolutely stunk the joint up. Absolutely egregious. I'm very upset about it. My DraftKings funds are dwindling due to some of my poor decisions at the moment.
I'll give you so you were the one that got me into doing DraftKings. I'm still on my first deposit. I've still I put in $20. They gave me $20 as a bonus, and I still haven't lost it. I've been playing pretty regularly this week, so I've zeroed out a couple times this week, but I've also hit a 20 once, and so it looks like I'm gonna win some money today, maybe like $13-14. But yeah,
let's go, baby.
I had to put a lot in, but it's if you're paying we're paying attention to the league, it's pretty easy to just kind of mess around with DraftKings, because if anything, it helps provide analysis for us later when we make these shows.
Heck yeah, bro. I know about 10 deep on every team because of DraftKings. Trying to find that value.
Except when I told you the players that the Portland Trailblazers put in when they were up 40, and then we were like, who?
Well, I didn't play today. If I was playing today, I guarantee you I would have known who they were.
Probably. The 76ers are still holding on there. Milwaukee Bucks, it's just the same story here. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 is going to change up a little bit. We kind of already mentioned that you want to be the 1 seed, because the 76ers and Bucks will have to battle it out in the semis to face the Brooklyn Nets potentially. So just food for thought there. The New York Knicks, 9 and 1 of their last 10. Obviously, they dropped one, as we talked about at the top of the hour here. But doing well for themselves. Most likely in that 4 to 5 range, they're going to fall. So even if they, even if they somehow don't keep the 4 seed, they're tied right now with the Hawks. They'll still be in it. It would be cool to see the New York Knicks get a home game. Not that they, haven't won in a long time, but I'm sure their fan base would be ecstatic. And then I'll stop at 6 and we can kind of chat. But the Boston Celtics, they're at 6, 32 and 29, 9 games back of the Nets. Looking like they'll be kind of, in that range of 6 to 7 to maybe 8 if they keep losing to bad teams like they did today. Any thoughts here, guys?
Yeah, you were spot on about the Knicks and the fan base being excited to have a home game because they haven't won, because they've been cheeks over the last decade. So yeah, no, 100%. That'd be cool to see a playoff game at the Garden. They have been absolutely unbelievable over their winning streak. Julius Randle has been absurd. I mean, this is the best version of Julius Randle we could have ever asked for when he was in LA, and now he's doing it in New York. Good for him. Adopted some of that Mamba mentality we talked about in the last show. When you look at the Hawks, they're a really interesting team, and how well they've been playing with Nate McMillan as the coach is what has been so drastic in their change from the beginning of the season until he took over on March 1st. So since that time, March 1st, he was hired. Atlanta is 20 and 7. Teams before McMillan arrived They were averaging a .5 differential. Those were the teams they were facing. So this is kind of good and bad, right? So now McMillan was in the teams before McMillan was hired. The average point differential per game was .5 on those teams. Since he got there, it's a minus .6, which is the ninth easiest schedule in the league. So, some of that and their winning has to do with the schedule easing up a little bit. But then just to give McMillan his credit again, because, we like to keep it balanced on this show, baby. We want to give you guys, we want to let you know you're doing good, but, you gotta tone it down a little bit. Since McMillan took over, they have a rating of 4.9 points per game better. And that's the third best in the league, the ninth best in the league, and the third best in the East, only behind Philly, who's at a plus 6.4 since the break, and Milwaukee, who's at a plus 5.8. So just when you look across the board, they've been doing a better job with Nate McMillan. The easier schedule could be a reason why, but also coaching and their ability to overcome and win close games is what has been really the thing that was plaguing them in the beginning of the season that they've turned around since McMillan took over.
Yeah, you play in your conference. You play the teams you gotta face. Like it's they're in the East, right? They play most of the same teams as the teams in their division. So yeah, you can't fault them for doing well during these types of stretches. I saw the Golden State's, because I was looking at like their standings as we get down here. Golden State's like next 10 games is like cheeks, dude. They have a lot of favorable matchups. So I would potentially even see the Warriors rise up a little bit.
They're losing 36-12 right now after one quarter.
Okay, well, start yanking up threes.
You don't have to tell Steph twice, but
no, we don't.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add about these guys before I move on, Andrew?
No, I was going to say something about Atlanta, but Jay kind of covered it. They ripped off 9 straight wins. I still don't understand, like when Nate McMillan got first hired, they won 9 in a row. I still don't understand why Indiana got rid of him. I don't know who the coach over there in Indiana is now, but I would have much preferred they just kept Nate McMillan. He had a winning record over the 5 seasons that he was a coach over there, and I understand like changing up some systems and stuff, but I mean in a COVID shortened year, I just would have kept him because Indiana's now in the 9th spot, not playing too hot. Injuries have something to do with that too, but yeah, even they've won back-to-back games against the it was the Bucks and the Heat in the last 2 nights without Trae Young, so good for them. But it's going to be a battle between 4 and 5 between them and the Knicks. I think Boston and Miami have just been disappointing.
Right. The Knicks did just beat them too a few games ago.
Our next little cluster here: the Heat, Hornets, and Pacers, all within 2 games of each other. So yeah, I mean these are like your about 500 team, 500 win percentage teams. The Miami Heat have. They're all pretty much been like about 500 the last 10 games they played too. The Miami Heat, we mentioned without Oladipo, haven't really had any playing minutes with him to work on improving that record. The Hornets have been without LaMelo Ball, have slipped a little bit. Earlier in the season, they were a little bit higher ranked. And then the Pacers, they're holding on. But yeah, injuries have kind of plagued them for most of the season. I feel like that's like kind of the story with them every year. I don't know what it is. San Diego Padres and their pitchers, and Indiana Pacers and their, I don't know, big men roster and the roster. Injuries, whatever. But and then the Wizards, Bulls, and Raptors all within a game of each other there. So we've kind of already mentioned it, but we're going to bet on probably Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal to get them that 10 spot and give them a chance to upset one of these teams and have a chance for the playoffs. The Bulls purged a bunch of most of their team away and kind of rewrote the team at the NBA trade deadline. And then the Raptors don't necessarily seem like they're in it to win it right now as well. So I don't necessarily see those 2 teams still holding on. It's just that the East is pretty bad towards the bottom here. So some bad teams have a shot towards the end. And but yeah, any closing thoughts on the East?
No, I think the 7 through 10 play-in is probably what we'll get. Toronto made a late, not a late push, but they made a push recently to kind of move up a little bit, and then faltered back. They played some tough teams though. They lost to Brooklyn. They played decent for a while when they had their trio of Van Vliet, and Siakam's been really good since he got back. But I think the 7 through 10 we see, especially Charlotte getting LaMelo Ball back, I think that'll just help them. They've been playing good basketball as it is already. Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and Miles Bridges have been shooting the lights out, and PJ Washington has quietly been playing real good basketball for them. And they just beat Boston on Sunday, so they did lose today, but they played Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's that's a 3 seed. That's not really unexpected, but I see that. I think that's about what we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. As we mentioned, no one wants to see Washington. That's pretty much it. The Bulls, with Zach LaVine, since the trade of Nikola Vucevic coming over, were 3-8 when he was playing, and then he got injured. And since he got injured, they're 4-3. So they're a little bit better without him.
Go figure.
Yeah, exactly. Like it really means anything, right?
Yeah.
Just so
that's true. It's a good point of reference for sure. You could, man, there are some bad teams in the league, but whatever. Okay, so the West we go.
I feel like this is the easier conference to talk about because the Lakers are going to win the mother lover. So go figure.
So the Jazz right here have clinched a playoff berth. They're 1 game up still on the Phoenix Suns. They're still kind of holding pace without Donovan Mitchell. They had a blunder last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves where Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, totally missed D'Angelo Russell's on his assignment, and then Russell laid it in, and they lost the game by 1. The Phoenix Suns, just beat the Knicks, so doing well for themselves. They're healthy than the Jazz. And then the Clippers have made a serious push to put themselves into contention here. Their odds of winning, like Vegas has also changed some odds for the Clippers too, so favoring them a little bit more. 2 games back, 8-2 in their last 10, playing really well behind Paul George, while Kawhi Leonard is out. Any thoughts on the top here?
PG's been incredible lately. Without Kawhi, he's averaging like 31, 7, and 6, and shooting 50, 40, 90. So other than that, Phoenix has been great. Like we mentioned earlier, they went 4-1 against the East best teams recently. And like I mentioned earlier, Donovan Mitchell coming back for Utah. Hopefully soon for their sake. But again, I just don't even think they make it past the first round. So doesn't matter to me really.
Right.
Yeah, do it in the playoffs, Utah. Phoenix has the highest win percentage that they've had since 2007. And the Clippers are winning without Patrick Beverley or Serge Ibaka. So pretty sure it's going to be an LA versus LA Western Conference final again.
Yeah, so if the Lakers kind of hold in this 5 seed, which it looks like most likely they will, and if the Clippers hold into that 3 seed, then the only way, they can face each other in the Western Conference finals, which would be, pretty cool. We were supposed to get that last year. Didn't happen because the Denver Nuggets went ham in the playoffs. Luka,
we held up our end of the bargain. Go figure.
No, I'm sorry. Well, I meant Dallas Mavericks, right? Dallas knocked them out. I got that wrong. Luka.
It was Denver, right?
It was Denver. They blew through. Yeah, they blew 3-1 lead.
Yeah, they blew a 3-1 lead to Denver.
Yeah. Okay. I got that right the first time. Damn it.
Nah, boy. Yep.
I can't edit this out. No. Just kidding. Okay, so the next few here, the Nuggets, Lakers, Mavericks. There are some discrepancy in games back here. There's a few between the Lakers and Nuggets. There's a couple between the Lakers and Mavs. The Mavs did well for themselves by beating the Lakers twice, so the gap was a little bit wider before then. The Lakers and Mavs, though, have pretty much both been 50-50 this last week, and then the Trailblazers have really been falling off 2-8 in their last 10, which is kind of embarrassing. Not necessarily embarrassing, but not helping improve their chances.
Pretty terrible.
And that's also, giving more reason to why, like, as the season goes on, some of these candidates of, average-ish or teams will not get MVPs handed out to them. Like, you're not going to give it to Steph Curry and the Warriors because they're only 31-30. And you're not going to give it to Dame if he can't get his team to victory. But anyways, all that aside, the Trailblazers, Grizzlies, Spurs, and Warriors rounding out the back end here. A game and a half difference between the Trailblazers to the Warriors, and only 2.5 games between the Mavericks and the Warriors. So this can really change in any night. Just you lose a game, someone else wins a game. You have to question whether or not you're going to still be the same seed. And I'm pretty sure the Pelicans can't make it now. They're 17 games back. And 4 games difference between the Warriors. So we're looking like this is our grouping here. I think we've said it time and time and again. Whoever gets the 7th seed, whether it's the Mavericks or the Trailblazers, we like them making it through the play-in tournament. And then I think we have all kind of agreed that we like the Warriors to, get to that 8th seed. However, they're losing 44-16 right now to the Dallas Mavericks. So go figure.
16 minutes of ball game gone, and they got 16 on the board. Pretty cheeky, if you ask me. I'll be honest. I'm usually trying to defend Steph, and that's just hashtag bad. Jay, and like Jay's mentioned before, and I'm sure maybe he'll mention again right now. There's just certain teams you don't want to see, especially in like the circumstance of this season where you have to win just one game. In the East, you don't want to see Washington. In the West, you don't want to see a game against the Warriors, especially not when Steph's having as historic a shooting as he's been having this season. So,
right.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Funny little note. Did you see Damian Lillard responding to this guy on Twitter? So this guy on Twitter, apparently he's a Portland Trailblazer fan. He tweets at Dame. He goes, "Hey Dame, how's the hamstring feeling?" I think it was his hamstring. You heard this, Andrew? You heard this? He goes, got the mortgage on the house on you guys winning 42 games this year. Just wanted to check in. Big Blazers fan, no matter what happens, even if I'm homeless, the guy tells him. Dame Lillard responded, "Say less." Yeah, going into today, since that tweet, they lost 5 in a row. Currently, they have 32 wins. They have 12 games left. 10 of them are versus teams for over 500. They're going to have to win 10 of them or this guy's losing his fucking hoozy. So good luck with that guy. I don't know if they're going to do it. That's pretty tough ass, especially with Damian Lillard on one leg. Scored 29 DraftKings points for me at 3% ownership. Ridiculous. Way to go, Damian. That's my DraftKings lineup, and you're costing this guy a home.
I think your blood's still boiling over that DraftKings debacle, but Jesus. I mean, yeah, technically they won tonight, so 33. So one less game for Dame to say less about. So
right, so they have to win 9 of their last 12 games.
Yeah,
66%.
Is this that's just silly / and hilarious, but that's awesome.
It's just so funny.
Hopefully he's joking, but didn't sound like it by the way that you formulated that tweet there.
That's what the guy said. That's what he said. Said he got the mortgage on the Blazers winning 42.
Real quick, or not real quick, but let's just break down seeding real quick. I want to give some clarity to NBA championships won and by seeding. So in the Western Conference, which we're looking at right now, the last team that was lower than a 3 seed, so we're talking about 4 to 8, to make it to the finals was the Dallas Mavericks in 2005-2006. And they lost to the Heat 4-2. They won the first 2 games and got swept the last 4. Pretty memorable finals if you were watching in 05-06. It's when the Heat had Ray Allen and I think he hit a game winner or something in the corner. Pretty historic shot by him. And then before then, the last team that was worse than a 3 seed was the 6-seeded Rockets in 94-95. They made the finals and won that year. So hold on. The point here was though Dirk Nowitzki played for the Mavericks. Olajuwon played for the Houston Rockets, so like they had like NBA legends playing for them. So can any of our 4 to 6 teams this year change that narrative? So looking here, it's the Nuggets, Lakers, or Mavericks. Will they get to? Do you have more like and no biases aside here, right? Do we think that the Jazz, Suns, and Clippers have a better shot than the Nuggets, Lakers, and Mavericks? If you got to pick, which side are you picking?
Which group has got LeBron? I'll take that one. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you think the five-seeded Lakers? So history is against them. However, Utah is.
That's how LeBron likes it.
If he makes it to the finals and wins it, I'm just letting you know. Like historically speaking, that would be like once in 20 what 94 95. That's the last time. So that's what 26 years ago.
27.
27,
27. That's
20
how old I am.
27 years ago that a team was able to be a lower seed and win in the West. So coming out
I
of the
mean,
West.
would it honestly surprise anybody though? Like,
No. But
that's the crazy thing about
That's
LeBron, and
crazy,
that's
though.
the crazy thing that like
It's
he,
gonna
the kind of effect he's had since he came to LA. Like, I mean, it's
it's
just.
it's gonna heat up that MJ debate, right, Andrew?
I mean, dude, he's already the oldest player to average 25, 5, and 5 like in NBA history. He's 36, averaging. He's not even averaging 25, 5, and 5. He's averaging 26, 8, and 8. I mean, he just had to beat that threshold, and he's demolishing that threshold. Like,
Right.
I'd be silly if I said that Utah had a better chance even at the 1 seed, especially given this year in these circumstances that they have a better chance of making the finals that the Lakers do. Even Denver or Dallas, like I just think that Denver and Dallas's like stars are better than Utah. Utah's just shooting. Steve Kerr said something the other day. I think Jay and I we might have talked about it off stream, or something I just saw. But Steve Kerr was like the Warriors or the Jazz are kind of where the Warriors were like 3 years before the Warriors became the Warriors. They're just shooting so many threes, and right now they're just happening to make them, and they have some personnel that are able to knock them down. But when all is said and done in the playoffs, I just don't think that's going to last because that's just like the Warriors did it. But I mean, how many Warriors are we going to have? We're not going to have them consecutively, like those
Right.
types of teams coming and winning NBA championships. At the end of the day, you got to play some defense. Jay mentioned earlier, only about having how important it is to have a top 10 defense. It's only been 3 teams in NBA history to win a championship without a top 10 defense. It matters whether you like it or not. It matters.
Yeah, the Sixers have a good case for themselves. We're looking here at the East because they have a top 10 defense. Okay, so we're gonna go to the East now and apply the same threshold that we just did to the West, the Eastern Conference. Let me take you back to 1969. That was the Boston Celtics, Bill Russell, John Havlicek. They were the fourth seed, I think, and they were the last team to make the finals in the East that were seeded 4 or lower. Okay, which just goes to show you how ridiculous the East is, because if you're not a top 3 team in the East, then you have no shot. Like, get it together, Eastern
That's because
Conference.
the East stinks.
Get it together. Like, okay.
Washington's 7 games under.
And I'm technically wrong because the Heat made it last season, so they're not the last team to make it, but they're the last team to win. So the Miami Heat made it as the 5 seed last year, but got lost, 4-2 to the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, New York Knicks, Atlanta Hawks, Boston Celtics, Miami Heat, and whoever the hell makes the 8 seed there. No shot, right? 0% chance.
That's something I'd bet the mortgage on. You want to talk about betting the mortgage on something? Bet the mortgage on that. That's fine. It would take every single Giannis, Joel, Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all getting like, I hope nothing happens to them, but getting like COVID, getting sick or something. They can't play. That's the only shot that any of these teams will ever have.
Isn't that nuts though? What? 69?
I thought maybe it would be LeBron. I thought maybe there was a LeBron team that snuck in there that was like below the 4 seed.
The problem is LeBron finished first in the East almost, I think, every year except for 2 seasons, which was his last season in Cleveland when he finished 4th, but still made the final.
No, there was a few times in Miami where they were going through some injuries. They were going through that. Miami had some injuries for a few years, and it was talked about, like, oh, they're not as dominant. But maybe you're right. They were teetering around the 3-4 seed, not really like that. Anything lower than that, because the East stinks.
Right. Say less. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up today's show. We had some nice banter there at the end, and yeah, I mean, we'll see if we have a historic end to this season. We didn't. Some would say that this was a historic end to this show. I don't know. I mean, we're just here. We're just doing our things. It's the AJA Sports Show. We're always looking out for your best interest, giving you the best sports knowledge and news that we can provide. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Follow us, like us, and subscribe. We are the AJ Sports Show. This has been another fabulous episode of Sports Sessions. See you later.